Hi, and welcome to Forbes Talks. I'm Maggie McGrath, the editor of ForbesWomen, and we are coming at you from the NASDAQ market site, and I am so excited to have the Chief Revenue Officer of Girl Scouts of the USA, Wendy Lou, here with us today. Wendy, thank you so much for coming to us. I know it is your busiest season.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start with the questions everyone wants to know. Are Girl Scout cookies on sale right now, and how long do people have to buy them?
Yes, it's a very important question, and yes, we've kicked off nationally our Girl Scout cookie season, but every local area has different timing for their cookie program. So if you want to find out if your Girl Scouts are selling cookies in your area, go check out girlscoutcookies.org. That's the best place to find out. But yes, they're out there. Our girls are out there. Both online in their digital channels as well as in person.
We'll talk about some of those digital channels because I know they're using some interesting selling techniques, but how long does Girl Scout season go? Is there a hard deadline that everyone has to get their orders in by?
So again, it's sort of every council makes their own decision as to the timing of their sale, but generally most councils are in sale around January to March. So that's the key time that you'll see the majority of our Girl Scouts out.
And are there any new flavors this year?
This year we don't have any new flavors, but we've had great launches over the last couple of years. One of the new flavors that we launched in 2021 was our Adventurefuls, which is a salted caramel cookie inspired flavor. And so if you haven't tried that one, I highly recommend it. But it's also a year to rediscover your favorites. So the classics are all there, your Thin Mints and your Samoas, Caramel Delights. So we encourage people to try something new, but also reintroduce yourself to something that maybe you haven't tried.
Now, when you talk about classics, I love this detail. The history of Girl Scout cookies is actually quite old.
Yeah.
It dates back to 1917, is that right?
That's correct, just 5 years after Girl Scouts was founded in 1912 by Juliet Gordon Low. So just within 5 years of our founding, cookies have been part of our legacy.
That's incredible. It's also as old as Forbes is, so we both share that birthday together. It seems core to the organization's identity, but let's talk about the economics and the finances here. How much revenue do Girl Scout cookies bring to the overall organization?
Our girls sell about 200 million packages a year, and that price varies by each location, each region, and it really is about fueling both the local council as well as the girls and their troops. So all of the proceeds for Girl Scout cookies stay local. And girls use those funds to determine what they want to do for their year, whether they're going to go on an amazing trip internationally or they're going to go use it to go visit an aquarium in their town. They get to determine what they want to do with those funds that help them with their Girl Scout journey. 200
million boxes. Mm-hmm. So if $5 a box, you're at $1 billion in cookie sales?
So yeah, so it's really exciting. This is the largest girl-led entrepreneurship program in the world, and it is, as you said, a big part of our Girl Scout mission and our program, but it's just one component. So while that's really critical because it provides the funding, at the end of the day, it is a program where girls are learning skills around decision making, business ethics, goal setting. Those are the really important learnings from the program. So while the revenue obviously supports the girls, it's important that when you're when you're purchasing a Girl Scout cookie, it's not just about the amazing cookie, it is about fueling their activities and their dreams. And the rest of the program in terms of being part of Girl Scouts is not just entrepreneurship, but it's being in the outdoors, it's being having mental awareness, community. So it's all of those things as well, but we're really proud of our Girl Scout cookie program.
We were talking before we got on set about some of the creative ways that the Girl Scouts are selling these cookies now. It's not just the stands that you're used to, that I grew up seeing at the local mall or at school. People are using QR codes, Venmo is a tool. Mm-hmm. How are the Girl Scouts and the troops incorporating technology and the latest and greatest in tools and apps and all of the things?
All the things, and it's definitely a points to the ingenuity of our girls and the volunteers who support them. They've pivoted and we've had to pivot through the years. So as you mentioned, there's the online component. So we have girls each have their own digital storefront, their own e-commerce business. They have to set it up, they have to market it, they have to follow up with their customers, and they have to do that last mile fulfillment as well in some cases, or bringing the cookies to the customer. So we've evolved those digital channels, but we also have evolved in the way that we sell. We have some councils who kind of do more traditional process where they take an order from you and then deliver it to you later. We have some councils who the troops bring the cookies, and so right when they're in front of you, they'll sell you those cookies. You mentioned booths. That's the other really popular way that girls get out there. But they are using social media tools as well. So you mentioned those QR codes. Those can be, shared to try to generate more traffic as well. And we see a lot of interesting behavior. So we just had a girl this season who reached out to all of her Venmo customers, people who had paid with Venmo on the app, letting them know, hey, I'm back in season. We love to see when girls come up with new ways. To be fair, we can't keep up with them. They've got the best ideas. We let them run with it, and we want to see what they come up with.
So she was just commenting on all the transaction history, like, reminder, get your cookies now.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's we have ways for you to email or all these different channels, but why not come up with another one?
That's clever. And it makes me wonder, what are the ties between girls who sell Girl Scout cookies as a child and women who found companies or do innovative work as an adult? Have you looked at that?
I can say personally, anecdotally, I know so many times when I tell people where I work and what I do, their first thing that they tell me is, oh yes, I was a Girl Scout and it made me want to run my own business, get into sales, or to explore something that was difficult for me. So we hear that all the time. We also have studied that we've got more than 50% of women in business were Girl Scout alumni. So we think that's definitely a through line.
So women in corporate America, more than 50% have served as a Girl Scout at one.
Yep.
So I'm in the minority. I was never in the Girl Scouts, but I've always purchased the Girl Scouts.
It's not too late. You can still join as an adult. You could start a troop. You could be a volunteer, whatever you like.
Where do the volunteers come from? Just people like me who were never Girl Scouts and,
a large part of our volunteers are our troop leaders, the parents usually, or caregivers is typically, but it can be anybody. There are definitely folks who have maybe no children within the Girl Scout community, but want to give back and want to be part of the organization. So that's another, and so anybody can volunteer to, get involved.
When you talk about some of the decisions that the girls are making about how they're selling these cookies, does it get as granular as the troop is voting on the price points or the cookie mix? I mean, I know inflation has hit all kinds of products in the grocery store and beyond, and even there was a report this weekend about the price point on some Girl Scout boxes will be as high as $7 in some markets. But is that something that the girls have a hand in deciding?
The girls really focus on deciding what they want to use their proceeds for. That's the main thing that they'll figure out. And they'll think about, setting their goals. Well, what is it that we want to accomplish in our troop this year? What's that going to cost us? And okay, how are we going to deliver on that? Create a strategic plan to get to that revenue. In terms of the price of cookies, yes, there's definitely been some changes in our prices. And again, that depends on each region. So each council will take into account the factors that you would if you were running a business, which is what they're doing. They're thinking about what's the competitive environment around them, when's the last time they took a price increase, what are their costs, how are things changing, how do they need to adjust. So all of those factors come into play, and it's really the local council that will make that decision. And then the girls will go out there and do their best. And I think that we always see most customers are very understanding that Girl Scouts are not immune to rising costs and et cetera. And hopefully, when you're approaching a girl at a booth this year, you're aware that this is about fueling their adventure. And inflation is part of the world we live in.
It's part of the market environment, of course. You talk about the goals that they decide that they want to use the money for. How have those changed over the years? Are more going to coding academies, or I don't know. I'm guessing here, but can you suss out trends in business or career interests based on what their goals are?
I think it's a great question. I'm not sure we know the exact answer of that, but I could definitely tell you I am a mom of a Girl Scout myself. She's a brownie, she's 8 years old, and her troop is just really excited about earning as many badges as they can. For them, that's like their big thing. They just love that. They're in that phase where they love the learning, the skill building, and the recognition, which is so big and part of our mission. We'd love to the girls love to show off what they've learned.
And those are vests and badges that some people hold on to for decades, if what you told me is correct.
That's
you still
right.
talk to people in the corporate world who still have their badges?
Yes, I mean, so many times I'll meet somebody and then a week later I'll get a photo of them holding up their old Girl Scout sash or vest, and we love that. We have very engaged and dedicated alumni, I think, as well, and so it's great to see. Just personally for me, I think I was a Girl Scout, and I reflect back, I think about how much of an impact it had on me in so many ways. The leaders that I met, the people who nurtured me along the way, and so I think it's natural, maybe you haven't thought about it, but when you think back about it, these were important moments in your life.
It's really interesting because, as I think I said to you before, I see studies about how many corporate chiefs have been a college athlete, or how many people in America's C-suite competed in some sort of realm. So you see those statistics. I don't think I was quite as familiar with just how many people have been a Girl Scout and how that has fueled business growth, entrepreneurial growth, and it's kind of like the unsung first rung almost.
Yeah, we know it. We love it. We really believe in it too, because as I said, girls are thinking as little as 5. They're thinking about things like goal setting. So for my daughter's troop, I met with them before their started their cookie season, and that was the thing we focused on. Hey, what do we think is what is a goal? What's important about a goal? And it's sort of, the girls started thinking, well, it should be something that's hard. Okay, well, let's talk about examples of things that were hard and how did you get over it, right? So there's so much that goes into it, and those have direct translations to any role you're gonna have, or anything you're trying to accomplish in your life, right? Setting that goal, finding a path forward, and not getting stuck, figuring out how to get yourself unstuck along the way.
So talking about your own journey, you said you were a Girl Scout, but then you started your career as an investment banker. And I love this journey because I don't want to speak for all investment bankers, but the ones that I know are often looking for a way to get out of investment banking and into something else. Yeah. So how do you go from investment banking to Chief Revenue Officer of Girl Scouts?
Well, I think coming out of college, I think for me, I went for the job that I thought was the best fit for what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted something that was going to be fast-paced and challenging, and it was an amazing learning experience. Lots of hours, lots of dedication. You get thrown into quite the environment. After 2 years, really took some time to reflect, and I think that's really important for anybody in their career journey, no matter where you are in the journey. Take some time, reflect. What is it that you really love about what you're doing? What's missing? And so I took a year, I continued to work, but I took a year to really think about what was most engaging to me. And I'd always been a person who had been in retail as a side job, working at your local J. Crew or wherever it might be. And so really took some time to think about how I can make this change. And so similar to Girl Scouts, put out a plan. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. First, in these 3 months, I'll do this, and then I'll do this. And then I moved into a role at Macy's, and I was there for 14 really amazing years, and then I had the opportunity to come to Girl Scouts and lead the different revenue offices, revenue streams here. And so it's not that far a journey. It's really just about enjoying, figuring out what you enjoy, what you're good at, using that base and just keep moving it forward and setting that goal.
It makes sense when you connect the dots, but that's an amazing journey and also a really fun job. Is your job as fun as it seems?
There are definitely parts of my job that are very fun. There's obviously the development of new cookies, that's always fun, but really it's about the mission and the girls. That's the most exciting part, when you see it in action, when you see the girls in action, or you hear about stories of them doing amazing things, saving lives, literally saving lives from something they learned within Girl Scouts. So it is fun, but it's at the end of the day, it's about the girls, and it's about doing whatever myself and my team can do to give them that best experience.
I was going to go to my closing question, but just on the saving lives part, is that they've learned first aid skills, and then they're applying CPR in another situation?
Exactly. There will be situations where they've learned a skill, through Girl Scouts, and then they've had to employ that in different scenarios. So those are the parts that you're like, this is amazing.
It really is. All right, my final, very hard-hitting question.
Yes.
What is your favorite Girl Scout flavor?
I will not hesitate, but it's also, I think, not the most popular one. I love the do-si-do / peanut butter sandwiches cookie. That one is my favorite, but they're all amazing. And even as I said earlier, go and try a different one. I had not really tried and enjoyed our shortbread trefoil cookie, but if your tastes change over time, that one is also superbly delicious.
This is really funny, and we didn't plan this. The do-si-dos are my favorite.
Okay,
too.
well there you go.
One year I ended up with 3 boxes from different sources, and I got home and I laid them out on the couch, and I'm like, I might have a bit of a problem here.
They're unique. They're very good.
Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us at the NASDAQ Market site. I hope you come back.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.